Hello and welcome back to AFOL and
the kid.
And today it's just a little quick discussion about the incoming Ultimate Collector Series AT 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 all-terrain vehicle from Star Wars, which we've talked about in previous videos where I discussed how big it was going to be. We now know officially how big it's going to be. We've seen some reviews already from LEGO ambassadors. We're not LEGO ambassadors yet, are we?
No. Fortunately
It is the dream. So if you're watching LEGO and you're listening, you maybe perhaps don't quite meet the criteria yet, but we're up and coming. So if you'd like to take a gamble, we'll more than happily review some sets for you. Anyway, we can't review the UCS AT AT because we don't have it yet and we don't have access to it because we're not LEGO ambassadors. So we're not going to go into too much detail about that. We'll put some pictures up on the screen now. And we will just talk a little bit about how big it's going to be and what our thoughts are on the upcoming set, won't we? Yeah. So in a previous video I talked about the size I predicted the UCS AT AT was going to be. Thank you for all your comments and your kind and respectful words of encouragement and discussion. It was really great to hear what you guys thought. I had quite a few comments suggesting that maybe I was a little bit off with the size of it and that it was going to be quite a bit smaller. I had a few comments saying it was going to be about 50 or no bigger than 55 centimetres tall. So I did another video anyway, based on some calculations that I did and the information that I'd already been given to. And I did, if you remember, my little comparison with my board, which I made up. And to be honest, slightly vindicated. I was pretty much spot on, not far off at all. It's 62 centimetres tall, the actual UCS AT AT's going to be, or is. And the one that I mocked up was 61 centimetres tall, which is here. So I was near enough there on my second attempt, and I wasn't far off on the first one. So I'm quite pleased about that. It is a little bit longer than the picture I did here. We won't mention that.
Are you sure that's in shot?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Else this whole video is going to have to be done again. But it's a little bit longer at 70 centimetres long. So again, if we compare that to the one here, I mean, you've seen probably lots of videos now with the proper thing comparing, but I was not far off, so I'm quite pleased about that, but it is a little bit longer. The playset AT AT, which is still the only one we have at the moment, can actually fit in between the legs of the Ultimate Collector Series set, and you've probably seen some pictures of that anyway. So it won't dwell. Yeah, I know. It's like a giant, like a giant one with a baby, and this one fits between its legs.
We've got the older AT AT, so maybe we could put that underneath it and have that big one.
Maybe you could. I think that one's similar scale to this one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am super excited about this Ultimate Collector Series.
Me too.
AT AT. You too. I can imagine from a kid's perspective, it just must be pretty amazing to see something that big. When I was a kid, we never had any Lego sets on this kind of scale.
Were these like the biggest sets you'd get?
Yeah, I don't even think we really had sets quite this big, to be honest. But yeah, certainly the dream. But let's talk about what we like about the Ultimate Collector. I mean, I've been waiting for a UCS AT AT for so long, so I'm really stoked about it, really excited. I think it looks amazing. I don't think LEGO could have done a better job in terms of the design of it. What do you think?
I think what is going to be in front of us when we get it, it's just going to be breathtaking.
If we do
size and scale.
If we do video it, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see us. We might have to build a new studio for it so you can see our heads behind it. Yeah. I know there's been very little criticism about the set from what I've seen, apart from perhaps the legs are a little bit thicker than people would like. I mean, that, in my opinion, is a necessity because it needs to have that stability. Because this one, alone is, we've talked about it before, it's really flimsy. Although it looks good for its size, it's pretty flimsy. I mean, it's so delicate.
I mean, the foot's come off now. So.
And you have the screwdriver attachment, which I mentioned in the previous video, to adjust the joints on the.
Which will be very good.
Yeah, on the Ultimate.
It's going to be much sturdier.
I think that's a good compromise. Gives you good means of posing the thing, and so you can get it into an action pose. It's quite a bit of fun. I can imagine to do it.
It does come with General Veers.
Yeah.
2 pilots and 5 snowtroopers, and it comes with this exact build again.
It does, yeah. So it comes with 9 minifigs, doesn't it? So yeah. It's
and
good.
Luke.
And Luke, yeah. You get the Luke
Obviously.
as well. So it's just an upscaled version of this, but obviously the interior detail is mind blowing on it. It's like a cut through. Yeah. But I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've watched probably some reviews of it already, so you'll have seen it, you'll have seen the interior, you know how good it is, you know how good it looks. Given that number of pieces and that kind of budget, we expect it to look good, and we expect Lego to do a good job. I mean, occasionally they do, get things a little bit wrong with, symbols and plaque information and things like that. But generally speaking, the Ultimate Collector Series sets look pretty amazing at that kind of scale. So we expected that. I don't think the only thing, if we're going to talk about disappointments, it's not really a disappointment, but I was really hoping there'd be some kind of mechanism that you could turn on the back, perhaps, that made the guns on the front go in and out. And I know you can pose them in and out.
Or maybe just on the back of their head as well.
Yeah, that would have been nice, and I think that was doable. So I think that's a miss for me. Yeah. I've also seen there's some blue pins you can see quite obviously on the guns on the front of the Ultimate Collector Series set, and that's a no I think as well. That's a bit of a irritant.
I don't understand why they could just do a bigger build of this.
Well, that's what they've done, but the certain type of pin they've had to use they don't make in an alternate colour. So anyway,
they could use a bigger plate and
less colours than you can see on the playset anyway. So generally speaking, we're nitpicking tiny little things, but for that sort of price, you can be a little bit nitpicky. So that brings us on to the price. Here in the UK, it is £750. Wow. Yeah. Wow is the... I mean, Lego is expensive. It always has been expensive. Obviously, with inflation and the relevance of the times, it gets more expensive as other things do. There are always cheaper sets available. It's like if you go and buy anything, a bike or a car or anything, you can buy a basic version fairly cheaply that will do the job, or you can spend as much as you want and get something really, really highly top end. And it's the same with Lego. So now they're bringing out these adult 18 plus collector sets, and they're on a different level, scale wise.
I still can't believe that the big AT-AT is minifig scale, because you said that it would be ginormous. I mean, I know that is ginormous, but that is...
I know. It's going to be a pretty special display piece.
The head's going to be like this big, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Or like the size of the body, maybe.
But the price, it's a little steep. It's a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. I think particularly here in the UK, it's $800 in the States, I believe. So we'd expect it to have been on par with the Falcon here, probably £650, £700, $750. I think they're pushing it a little bit there, even though I'm a massive fan of Lego and a massive fan of that set. No doubt it will be discounted at some stage in some places, like the Star Destroyer and the Falcon have been quite often for £100 off. So give it a year or so, I'm sure we'll get that kind of discount. Price per part, it comes out about 11p per part. That's not great for a set that size. You expect it to get a little bit cheaper the more pieces you've got. However, that said, how does it compare with the playset we've got here? This retails here in the UK for £140, well, that's the recommended retail price. How much do you think that is per part, per piece?
1p?
1p, that would be really good value. It's 11p. Oh. So in fact, we said it's a scaled up version with more details and more pieces of the playset, and that's the same for the price. So it is 11p per piece for the Ultimate Collector Series set. It is 11p per piece for the playset. So it is the same price in essence, but just scaled up as the playset. So is it more expensive? It's a difficult one to say. I think there's value in what you're prepared to pay for something and how much you want it. But it is no more expensive than this, in a sense, although because it's a bigger set with more pieces, I would expect the price to come down a bit. But this is also discounted quite heavily here in the UK quite often. You can pick this up for around £100. That makes it much better value. The Ultimate Collector Series sets, though, don't have such wide discounting, but they will have some discount at some point, so you'll be able to pick it up cheaper in the future. That's a given, really. So it's there or thereabouts in terms of how much Lego are charging nowadays for these sets. You look at the Titanic, which is one that we may get and review.
Yeah.
We've got.
But just a minute. You're calling this a play set. Does that mean I can play with it?
Maybe so. It's a bit fragile though, as we've said. It's more fragile by the day.
Just...
But the Titanic is one we may look to get and review, and we might have something a little bit special about that. Well, yeah, we'll have to see about that as well. Might have something a little bit special to do with that. But that obviously is a very, very high piece count, and is £570 here in the UK, so seemingly is much better value. Of course, price per part depends on the size of the pieces and the type of pieces, so it's not always a massively accurate indicator. But the Titanic, with the size of it, scale of it, how it looks, the piece count looks to be much, much better value, and it probably is. The Disney tax or the Star Wars tax, the tax, the license fees that Lego pay are supposed to be spread across their entire range. So technically, you're not supposed to pay more for these sets than others, but I think we can all agree you probably do. But they don't. It's difficult. If you want the set and you've got the money and you find value in it, then there you go. That's how much it is, and it's an amazing set. But it is a lot of money. But they are producing more and more of these large adult collector series sets. And I, for one, think it's good to have the choice and the option. And I love those sets. There'll be some that I get, some that I'm not so fussed about getting. The Star Destroyer I don't think is one I'll be getting, but is that you hanging from there? You haven't got a thermal detonator, so you're in trouble.
We'll have that.
So yeah, just to sum up our thoughts really, it's going to be, or is, an amazing set. We hope to get it and review it if it's at all possible, but it is a lot of money. It's difficult for those of us that aren't ambassadors to sort of justify the cost of it, but the AT-AT is one that I've always wanted, so I'll try my very best to find a way to get it and to build it and to review it for you guys, and give you my thoughts on it. But it looks amazing. I couldn't have asked for more in terms of the detail, the scale of it. I expected it to be expensive. That said, it is more expensive than I hoped, and perhaps a little bit more expensive than I hand on heart think it should be, given the current climate and times and everything. But that said, it's like anything. It's a brand. It's a quality brand. It's there if you want it. If you can't afford it, you don't want it, then there are other sets available that are very beautiful to look at and good to display as well. So we're very much looking forward to it. We just thought we'd do a video just to discuss it really, and talk about what we like about it and what we don't like. There's very little we don't like, other than those couple of very small, minor, nitpicky things. Missed opportunity with the Gunzo. Oh, that would have been so good.
Yeah. That would have been worth the price, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think the price is a little bit difficult to swallow. I think it is a little bit too expensive. More,
features in it, maybe.
But it was always going to be expensive, so I don't want to be too, don't want to be too much of a killjoy with it.
Yeah,
I think it is what it is. And if you don't want it and you can't afford it, then I guess you don't buy it. It's all about consumer choice. So very much, thankful to Lego for finally giving us a UCS AT AT. I'm glad that I was fairly accurate with my predictions, so I didn't let too many of you down when I was suggesting how big it was going to be. So we're pretty much there. So yeah, thanks ever so much for watching our video. Hopefully you found it a little bit interesting with our discussion. And we'll be back maybe to review this set in the near future, but we'll be back with some more reviews and more Lego discussion and chat soon. Maybe with the Titanic, we'll have to see. Although that takes a bit of time to build that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video or you're enjoying our content, do look back at some of our other videos. Let us know what you think. Please keep commenting and chatting with us. We really do enjoy responding to your comments and getting a bit of discussion going in the community. Hit the subscribe button. We do really appreciate it. Every click counts. Like our videos. Thanks ever so much for your support. We'll see you again soon. Bye.